And we're on. Hello and welcome to podcast episode 85 of Rope-A-Dope Boxing, where the two Daves are back once again to guide you through all the thrills and spills from the weekend's boxing action. David boy, how are you, son?
Oh, mate, I've had some week, mate. We meant to do it yesterday, which I apologise for. I've had no toilet, so Thames Water have been here, drainage problems, all sorts of shit. But that's not the biggest thing that happened to me yesterday. Now, you're like this. I don't know whether you can I'm zooming in. My nose is a little bit busted. So...
Mr. Big you beat.
Well, it's even worse. A 13-year-old did it. So, him being an amateur boxer, every time he gets up or I get up, we hit each other in the ribs and all that. So halfway through, I'm a celebrity last night. He's got up, I've hit him. Me and him are going at it, like messing around in the living room. Well, he's pulled out a fucking punch from the gods and he smashed me bang on the fucking ooter, right? And my
he's
nose.
Pulled out an Andy Ruiz, is he?
He's popped my nose. He's absolutely popped. And not only that, I think I'm getting two black eyes today. Like it's hurting all the way up here. And he didn't mean to do it. Well, he said he didn't, but he has rocked me like fucking George Groves got rocked in 80,000 in front of Wembley. He's pulled a punch from the gods, and he has absolutely. I've been punched a few times in my life, but nothing like this, mate. I've been absolutely banged on the ooter by a 13-year-old, and he has done me some damage, mate. Like I say, I've got bags under my eyes anyway, but. My nose is fucking hurting all the way down here. Honestly, it was some shot. I almost called give him a 10-8 round halfway through it with blood pissing out my face. It was absolutely as he done it, it hurt and I almost appreciated it. I thought that was some shot. Now, I saw we was on the pod. Cool, that was some punch. That's how I felt when I took one. Actually, my nose is probably bleeding now. So I've been absolutely iced by a 13-year-old. Yeah, so not only can I not have a shit in my toilet, I've had my nose punched in by a 13-year-old. What a day. What a fucking day.
Mate, he ain't even got his man strength yet.
I know. I mean, I've took some punches in my time and nothing like that.
He's 13.
He's 13. And I'm a bit of a fridge freezer, and he's popped my nose.
Yeah.
So
those amateur lessons are working, mate, aren't they, eh?
Well, I know about, yeah, exactly. We didn't have
paying off.
This was bare knuckle.
I'm more concerned that you had I'm a celebrity on the television more than anything. What have you got? What are you doing watching that shite?
Well, the pod we didn't do the pod yesterday, so I had nothing else to do.
I know, but you could have put some football on or some boxing. Gee, I
had boxing on. It was on the end of my fucking nose.
Live boxing, yeah. Anyway, what about this toilet lark then? People, you just mentioned briefly then. People are listening. The masses are listening, thinking, "What's he on about his toilet?" Explain.
My drains are blocked, but they're not just me. The whole street. It just happens to be that we've complained, so Thames Water have come to us. But it was late last night, and the mate he said that he's going to come back with a big machine. I thought, okay, I'm going to bed. Good luck. Woke up this morning, he was gone. I thought, oh, it's done. So only when I looked out the back before work, I realised it's not done. And then they've turned up again today. So the big machine is outside now. So God knows what they're going to do up there. You might hear some bits and bobs going off in the back. Because the drain's in my back garden, which is a pain in the arse. So I've got to traipse through the house. But yeah, I say, gone are the days where I'd fix it myself. Fucking hell, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dino Rod involved, do they?
The thing is, because it's owned by it is owned by Thames Water. They own the actual main drains. It's not like if it was my house, I'd have to get Dino Rod out. But because it's the main drain, they do it. So Thames Water do it. So it's people putting fat down the drains and fucking baby wipes.
So those curries your missus cooks, mate.
Yeah. I can see what everyone's had for breakfast in my drain.
Oh fucking hell, man. Yeah,
not for the faint-hearted on this pod, mate.
Let's swiftly move on to the boxing. So we're going to do two shows this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing this on a Tuesday. So anybody that watches, listens via their audio feeds know I have to fuck off to work. So we can try and fit this in for about an hour. A lot of boxing coming up the weekend. Some good fights as well. Some title fights. I think they're all title fights that we're covering. So we're going to do a bit David McDonald on Thursday, along with the prediction league and the preview. But today we're going to concentrate on the weekend that's just gone, along with the big news from Uncle Turkey yesterday about that big card out in Riyadh on the 22nd of February. We're just going to briefly go through that as well, because it looks like it's one of the best, if not the best card of boxing, especially in our lifetime anyway. So let's jump in with the boxing, mate, from what we witnessed at the weekend. Results well, Birmingham was the destination on Saturday night. We had ex-flyweight world champion Sonny Edwards. He took on 2020 Olympic gold medalist in Galal Yafai. We said last week this was Britain's best flyweights. We don't really have a flyweight division as such, but those two are the standout guys, especially Sonny being an ex-world champion, only the one defeat to Bam Rodriguez. Sonny was the number one contender, I think, with most of the sanctioning bodies. He's been sold as a bloodline sort of narrative with the brothers not getting on. There was a bit of beef during fight week and things like that. I like the boxing news take on it, Dave. They nicknamed it Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, it was good, that.
Yeah, I agree that did. And I said it was the best of the rest. I know Bam Rodriguez is floating in between weights, but he is the main guy down at those smaller weights. So whoever won this, in my opinion, without the other guys that hold belts, no disrespect to them, probably the best of the rest, mate. Going into fight week, Sonny Edwards, very cool as normal. I wouldn't say calm, but he wasn't really bad mouthing Galal Yafai like he does his other opponents. He looked happy. He looked healthy. He was talking the talk like he normally does, very sarcastic in his comments. It was just Sonny being Sonny at the end of the day. And he was coming off a win on his last fight against Adrian Curiel, a former world champion, which everything looked good. Everything looked Sonny. No pun intended there, really, guys. But there was no anything to suggest that what happened in the ring that on Saturday night would play out like that, you know. And obviously, Galal Yafai, he does his business a lot different. He's very quiet. He speaks when he's spoken to. Very humble guy. Just cracks on and gets on with it. Ring walks, Dave. Very confident ring walk from both of them. Again, I said there was nothing to suggest there was anything wrong with Sonny Edwards. Galal Yafai just got straight in there, ready to go. Let's rock and roll. Sonny had an MC, if you like, a DJ, a rap star, effing and being, and all that kind of jazz. Nice little ring walk, a modern day ring walk, looked really good. So yeah, both got in the ring. One of the best fights in the UK, one of the best fights in Britain, one of the best fights Matchroom have probably delivered us this year on an Eddie Hearn card. Here we go, round one, rocking and rolling. As soon as the bell went, Dave, Galal Yafai, he was out the traps fast on the fucking ground. Yeah. Set his feet, threw like fuck. It looked like he put Sonny Edwards down. Yeah. And the rest, mate, is fucking history. What the fuck went on? Oh, what the hell happened? I mean, let's jump straight into it. We know Galal's a fast starter. Yeah. We spoke about him on the pod before. Yeah. He cruises in fights, he gets that far ahead, and he gets lazy and he gets caught with silly shots. This was a Galal I'd never seen before. This would give Usain Bolt a race. He was right out the traps. He knew where to set his feet. He started throwing in punches in bunches, constant pressure. Sonny could live with him. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is going to be a great fight. Round 2, round 3, round 4. Yeah. It was just a complete onslaught from Galal Yafai. Yeah. So what did you take out of it, mate? Because we're going to go down the route as well of Galal not getting the credit he deserves, because it's all been about the Sonny show. But take me through what I've just said, mate. Fight week going into it, Galal coming straight out the traps, amazing.
Yeah, so I enjoyed. I liked the old brotherly stuff where they were beefing and that. A lot of it was staged to sell the fight. I believe they're all friends anyway. It all come out after that they were. So they were there to sell a fight. And I'll tell you what, I got the ump in the second round. I was going to come on and rant. If we were going to do it live, I was going to rant, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But no, I thought fight week. There was nothing to suggest that Sonny didn't have the heart of it anymore. Like talking of a time, there was none of that. There was no sort of ill feeling between what they were saying with each other. It was all very respectful. It was more from the families and more Charlie and Gamal and Kai and that, and as saying bits and bobs. But it sold and it sold for what it was. So I enjoyed that. Going into the fight, the MC thing, I don't like that. Sonny is a bit of a rude boy, but he is, and he is. So I hate, that's my pet hate in boxing. You know that, when they come out to unknown rappers, and I hate that. But he had war on his shorts for Edwards. I thought, here we go, this War Chisora sort of thing. Yeah, not really the way Sonny fights, but okay, he's whatever happens, he's going out on his shield. Fight started. Do you know what the difference was? There was you could see that Galal Yafai, this was his night. He prepared for this. There was game plans. That they looked at what they've done before in previous fights. They studied him. They sparred hundreds of rounds anyway, so it wasn't like they didn't know each other. But and you said it last week, and it was for a fair point. He's 3 years older than Sonny Edwards, but Sonny Edwards had a long career. He's an old 28-year-old, and that showed in the ring. Having the desire to want to do it is a hard thing, and sometimes you do find that out in the ring, and I think Sonny Edwards found out from the first 10 seconds in the ring that he doesn't want it anymore.
Mate, sorry, mate, to interrupt, but I thought he was fresh. I thought he was ready to go. When Galal hit him with that power, he's got that flyweight. Not many flyweights carry power. He hit him with 8-ounce glove rather than the 14-ounce he used in sparring. It was like, I can't have that. I don't like that power. No. And he just collapsed from then.
Yeah.
That's my interpretation.
No, he did. Yeah, he did. He came out very fast, and it was the right thing to do. That you've got to cut the ring off with Sonny Edwards and pressurize him. You can't let him move to the sides and shift it. And they'd worked that game plan out very well. And all he did, he just pressurized him. He over pressurized him. He put him under too much pressure, and he was relentless with it. And Sonny Edwards needs time to set himself to move around the ring to get his shots off. If that's time to think. I mean, don't get me wrong. He moves very quick, and you feel it's almost like he gets falling through, but it's split second thinking. It's his reactions are split second. But
it's a weird quickness though, Dave, because he's so technically gifted and so skilled. Sometimes he plants his feet like he's stuck in the mud, but he's got that sort of lateral movement where he can navigate round with funny little angles, and land uppercuts, land shots around the guard, and he's always scoring points. Think, how has he managed to pull that off? And then he'll pivot somewhere and make his opponent work.
Yeah, but that, you know what it was? His legs had gone from him. He couldn't do that sort of thing. His legs are completely gone from him. Like it was like he was wearing way down wellies at times there. And Galal would move. Galal was moving him around the ring, but he wasn't allowed him to pivot, and he wasn't allowed him to set himself and let him breathe. That was the difference. These other fighters give him a chance to. They'll put pressure on him. Excuse me. They'll put pressure on him, but he's got time. He's got that split second to make his moves and look sharp. Galal never ever took his foot off the gas. He never gave him that second thought. He never gave him, and it wore him down. It wore him down in round one. And they broke it, and his will was broken from the first round. His will was broken, and that's how the fight played out. Now, when he went back to the corner in round two, this is where I was going to get the because I thought, you know what, this has been sold, and I felt more like a fan. I thought when he said, you know what, I've got to be honest, I don't want to be here no more. When I heard that, I was fucking fuming. I was thinking, you know what, okay, you have been honest, and that's fine. You don't feel it no more. But there's people that have fucking come out and paid to see a fight, see a spectacle. Don't just throw the towel in and spew it because you've had enough. Don't do no mass. I think that's bang out of order.
So that was my next question. So you're going to praise Chris Williams and the corner work because a lot of people
I am. Absolutely.
Yeah, go on.
No, go on, mate. You carry on.
No, I was going to say that literally was my next question because a lot of people straight away on Twitter or Twitter, they were sort of very negative. Oh, if Sully's not right, you've got to pull him out.
Yeah.
If Sully's not right, you're putting his life in danger. Yeah, I kind of get it as well, but it was like the second round. I know you can get tagged, you can get buzzed and knocked out in the first round and all that. I kind of get it. But it was the feet that wasn't working properly. For some strange reason, there may have been issues, like he said, after he was struggling with injuries, he struggled with the camp, but there was nothing there to suggest that he was struggling. Do you know what I mean? So the legs weren't working, but I actually do like the work from his new cornerman, Chris Williams. He was saying, stop it now. You're an ex-world champion. You've been here, done it, worn the t-shirt. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. We've not worked on this. We've worked on this. Go and try this out. Go and do this. A bit more of a motivational speech rather than say, oh, all right, then, do you know what? Fuck it. You're getting paid anyway. You've been weighed in on the scales. Let's get you out of here and give Galal the win. He went back in there. Don't get me wrong, David. He did try. He did try and do bits and bats, but the relentless pressure from Galal Yafai, if you look at the feet as well, and when he fought against Bam Rodriguez, I had a look I went back and had a look at that fight, and there's an argument there to say Sonny Edwards is actually winning the fight on points. He was probably a couple of rounds up when he was against Bam Rodriguez. Yeah. But he said after, Bam Rodriguez sort of worked out, had an A-B-C plan. He worked out with his feet. If I plant my feet quicker than Sonny's, I can set my feet to get into range and fight. And how Yafai done that from the first second. Feet, quicker feet, the quicker hands. That's like Bam's kind of put a blueprint on how to beat Sonny. Not as easy as that. I know, don't get me wrong, Bam knocked him out and stopped him. But that was the way it was going. And do you know what else was quite worrying? I say worrying in a sense that Sonny could have got seriously hurt. But a lot of those shots Galal Yafai was throwing, he wasn't even sitting down on them. No. They were just like boom, 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 boom. But they were so quick. They were so accurate. he didn't miss with anything. And Sonny was constantly, putting his guard up, trying to get round. But there were so many coming through. And I think the referee stopped it. When he stopped it, I thought you might have stopped it a bit earlier because there was the odd one or two coming back from Sonny, but it wasn't enough. He got beat up and he got stopped.
Yeah.
As simple as that. But yeah, corner work, mate. Next, I've got it up for the audio listeners. I've got it on the banner here. Galal sent Sonny into retirement.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming at all, Dave. Let's be honest. Nobody saw that coming. We saw a competitive fight, Ball versus Matador. We didn't call Galal the Ball because he's an Olympic gold medalist. He can box, and he showed on Saturday night he is a fucking elite. Well, I'd say elite just yet, but he's a very, very class boxer. He's at world level now.
Yeah.
So, retirement, Dave. Where the fuck did that come from?
Let me just go back to the corner work there a second. You went through a few topics there. No, like I say, I was going to mention the corner work before you did there, and I've seen the same thing you've seen, where they're going, when a man says he doesn't want to beat them, he should put no. You're in there to motivate. You're in there. Listen, you don't want to send him out to get hurt, but at the same time, it's the end of round 2 or whatever, round 1 or whatever.
Yeah, round 2.
If he pulls him out there, then it gets spun on him, and Sonny will be like, "You're meant to be doing this." No, you've seen some of the best corner work in the world ever, in the greatest fights ever, where the corner have said the right things, have motivated him out. They're in the fight fucking game. So not for me, mate. I thought the corner work was brilliant. Imagine just a few words there that he could have inspired him for Sonny to come out. Oh, it didn't happen this time, but it has done in the past, where fighters come out after hearing certain words in there, like you're doing it for your family, but all that sort of stuff. Do it. We've trained for it, but and it inspires you, and you can go out and get the win. And that could, on another day, it could have happened. So no, not for me. Like I say, he wasn't completely. Yes, he was losing the fight. He wasn't there with fucking his eyes busted, and they've sent him out to the lamb to the slaughter. It wasn't the case. Yes, he was losing, but no, that's what the corner work are there for. You're not, it's a boxing match. It's early in the fight. On another day, could it have been turned around in the fight? Yes. So no issues with the corner work, mate. And then going on to the Galal Yafai, Robert McCracken told him not to plant his feet. He doesn't need to. So he doesn't need to waste energy trying to knock him out when he can just keep that relentless pressure up with, not chippy tappy, but enough there to just to keep him at bay. Because all Sonny was trying to do was trying to swing a wild pot shot to try and get him off of him. But just the will of him just broke Sonny's heart, and there was nothing coming back, and the referee was the right stoppage there. Sonny Edwards down, his retirement. I didn't see that. He said he was going to retire anyway. For me, he doesn't really live the life. There's pictures of him now smoking spliffs. It's well known that he smokes fags. He's had a great career, and by the sounds of things, he just doesn't want it anymore. It's hard to know whether he would have retired. If he'd have come there and went through the Galal Yafai, it could have given him a spring. We don't know. But he found out in the first 10 seconds that he doesn't want it anymore. And listen, to be fair, the performance wasn't the performance of Sonny Edwards, but again, his corner not pulling him out has allowed him to. Yes, he got stopped, but he was trying to throw back. He tried. He hasn't got that label on him as a quitter. If he would have gone out in his last fight, if his corner would have pulled him out when he said he doesn't want to be there no more, he'd been labelled as a quitter. He isn't getting labelled that because his corner. Yes, they tried to motivate him. He went out there. Yes, he lost. It happens. But he hasn't come out there with any sort of ill feeling towards him, like, quit of this and quit of that, because he did. He tried. His legs. It wasn't anything. It was his legs, his footwork that eluded him, and that was all. That was Sonny Edwards to a T. The way he used to fight, it was his lateral movement. It was his footwork that got him the career he had, and it wasn't there in that fight. And when it isn't there, he was exposed. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Galal Yafai is getting enough credit because everyone's talking about how Sonny Edwards was. Galal Yafai was absolutely brilliant on the night. He prepared. He wanted it more. He had a game plan, and he gets a lot of credit. And now he's going to go on to go on big fights. Now his name's up. His name's up there. Now. It's a great win, and it's fully deserved. It's fully deserved.
So, now. There's no going back now. We said, especially me on this podcast, since you've been doing it and covering his fights since he turned pro. He's mild. Sometimes you can just tell with certain fighters that they're too good for domestic level. They're too good for European level. Give them a test early in their career, like he's done. Sonny was #1 contender. It's a fantastic fight. Nobody knew Sonny was going to retire. Nobody knew Sonny's legs weren't going to work. There might have been an injury there. Doesn't mean it means absolutely shit. There was no signs during fight week. He got in there fit and healthy as far as we're concerned, and Galal done a job with him. It reminds you a little bit of Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. that sort of narrative when they both got in the ring. Yes, Anthony Joshua was acting a bit strange, when he was being massaged by his trainer and whatnot beforehand. But no one knew that he was sort of not himself, or he was having second thoughts and demons and all this sort of nonsense going through his head. And Ruiz didn't get credit either that night because he wasn't supposed to win. Galal, even though he wasn't favourite, he still wasn't supposed to win. So he's not getting the credit. He deserves it. And he has to go in for a world title shot and just beat the number one contender. So Kenshiro over in Japan, Eddie, get on the phone to Uncle Honda. If you're not on talking terms of Uncle Honda, you've got to ring up Uncle Turkey and go via that guy, because you can't go European domestic now. There's 4 champions out there. Fucking 25, mate. He can have 4 fights out there, Galal Yafai, in unified division.
Yeah.
I believe he's one of the best, if not the best, down at flyweight after Bam Rodriguez. Has to be. That was a masterclass what he done on Saturday night. Yeah. Yes, doing the old lateral movement and making angles and shapes. It was just went straight forward, set his feet correctly, found his range, and just constant pressure. But the pressure was accurate. It was accurate pressure. The dude couldn't miss.
Yeah,
thoroughly entertaining. Whatever for whatever anybody thinks of it, he deserves his shot now. And he's only he's 31. Literally, I think he's 32 next month or in December. So he's in his prime now. He hasn't got miles on the clock.
No.
He's fresh to Daisy. So let's go. You have to go forward now. You have to go forward. And with Sonny, mate, I don't think we're going to see the end of him. He's going to do punditry work, media work. I know he's a trainer. He's a manager as well. He'll be on the zone all the time. And give it 2 or 3 years. He's only 28. You'll be thinking, you know what? I can still do it against these guys. Like we see a lot of these boxers coming out of retirement think they can still do it. Sonny's still a young man. I don't think we'll see the end of him yet, mate. I really don't. It was just one of those. It didn't go his way. My opinion, didn't like Galal's power. He's known about it in the past. It'd be interesting to see what those spars were like, those 100-round spars, how many Sonny did win and how many Galal did win as well. But it was an interesting night, but fair fucks Galal Yafai. Super, super impressed, mate.
It's breakout night and he deserves it. He deserves it. So, I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes next, mate. Champions all the way. I say it was a great performance from him. I loved the work that he done. It wasn't out there. It was nothing brash. It was a game plan. We're going to put it on pressure. We're going to not let him breathe. We're going to cut him off. And that's all that was needed.
Yeah. He'll have to meet Bam Rodriguez at one stage.
Yeah.
Their paths will cross. That'd be interesting. Both of them have got a bit of pop. So, yeah. Well done, Galal Yafai. Right. Was Gwynne really robbed? Now, me and Dave was texting each other. This was on before I went to work. We were texting each other in between this fight. 6-0 prospect Cameron Vuong took on the former British and European champion in Gavin Gwynne. There was 12 years in age difference. We didn't speak about that last week.
No.
I had a nosy, and that's quite a big age gap. We were saying, was it too soon for Cameron Vuong? He'd only had 4 or 5 fights, whatever it was. Or was this the end of the road or start of the end of the road for Gavin Gwynne? His last 2 performances, should I say, have been a bit wilting. He was sort of getting outboxed by a 48-year-old Italian until the Italian's shoulder popped and he more or less got away with one. And he was absolutely battered and bruised and smashed up against Mark Chamberlain in 4 rounds over in Riyadh. So the questions were there for both men. This was a 10-rounder. It went to the scorecards. Cameron Vuong got the decision, Dave, by unanimous decision. Scores of 96-95, 97-94, and 96-94, obviously in favour of Cameron Vuong. All close kind of scores within 2 or 3 rounds, if you like. So we watched that fight, we texted each other, and we came to the same conclusion. We both thought Cameron Vuong won. Go on to Twitter. It's like it's the biggest robbery, ever. Mate. Worse than Josh Taylor and Jack Catchell. It's worse than Robson Conceição and O'Shaki Foster won. I couldn't understand what I was reading. Look, mate, I get it that Gavin Gwynne had success. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But this is the problem we have in boxing. I'm not going to back down now from what I watched on Saturday night. Yeah. We've got a fighter in Cameron Vuong who likes to box off the back foot. He counter punches off the back foot. He lands. He scores. He had a lot of clean and effective work.
Yeah,
that was what I saw. That was the optic test. He was landing more shots, and obviously Gavin Gwynne has got a massive engine. Kept coming forward. I said to you, he's a bit like Cepedo without the pop. He was constantly throwing. He didn't, to be fair, mate, he didn't do a lot in the first 3 rounds. He was just walking forward.
Yeah.
From round 4 to round 10, the energy levels went up and he was throwing and he was landing, he was having success and he won his rounds. But a lot of those shots are on the gloves. Now you've got somebody throwing on the gloves, constant pressure, and you've got somebody on the back foot landing with a counter punch, landing with the odd combination, scoring shots. So for people to say it's a robbery, two different styles, and you've got judges there, thank fuck there was no bullshit belt involved, Dave, from the British Boxing Board of Control. What are they watching or what are they scoring? Are they looking for pressure? If so, Gavin Gwynne was robbed. If they're not looking for pressure and they're looking for clean and effective work, I'm definitely happy to say Cameron Vuong won that fight, Dave. Honestly, mate, I do not understand what the big fuss is about. I really don't.
I couldn't work it out, mate, and that's why I went back. I went on Twitter and I asked a few questions. Does anyone have any issue with Vuong getting the win? And one person responded because I'm not that big, but and he said no. And I was the same. I felt that Vuong started early. Now he did fade. Don't get me wrong, he did fade. He's inexperienced. If it was a 12-round fight, he may have lost. I do feel like I had him up by 1, but if it was a draw, I would have nothing against that. But I thought he started the fight very well. He was smiling. He was picking some lovely shots. And for me, he won the early rounds. Yes, there was pressure there from Gwynne. But for me, I say, like we've just spoken about pressure, educated pressure. This wasn't educated pressure for me. This was more like stalking, thinking, I'll wear you down. You're a young pup. I'm going to walk through you. But in doing that, he was taking shots. You know what I mean? I know you can't look at damage on the face as a telltale sign of a fight.
No, and his face was mashed up.
It is a factor. Yeah, both his eyes were nearly closed. It is a factor.
Correct.
It's a massive learning curve for Cameron Vuong. He's probably come out with more questions than answers. I have to admit about that. For me, when I watching it, I think he's got a lot more work to do. It was a bit of a step up.
I'm glad he made the fight. I'm glad that he made the fight. I'm glad a few years ago, he would never have put him in with Gavin Gwynne. I reckon it was a brilliant bit of matchmaking.
Yeah. I
really do. To see where he is in his career and for him to know when he does step up even higher, he's got that sort of opponent in Gavin Gwynne and European level fighters. And then you've got your fringe world level, and then your world fighters. I thought it was a brilliant performance from him, from a guy that's so young, 12 years age difference, has only had 6 professional fights. I thought it was really positive.
The lesson for him is invaluable, which is what it was. The fight was made for.
Yeah.
But for me, I say he's got a lot of work to do. He'll probably tell you that himself. Like he was fading to the mid to late rounds, probably getting caught with shots that he shouldn't. But for me, he started the fight very well. And for me, I had him up by 1, and he won it in the earlier rounds. That's why But the robbery thing, though, I mean, and there was some really credible people calling robbery as well. There was ex-fighters, there was pundits, there was a lot calling for robbery. Now, I don't know whether it was more of a bias thing because Gavin, they may have known. I don't know, but there was a lot of it. Like, and I'm with you, and I know we tend to agree on a lot of stuff, but we weren't talking during we messaged during the fight, and we come up to the same thing. Yeah. But I don't see the robbery shout. Now, we've had some fucking robberies this year alone, let alone over 10, 20 years. And it wasn't this. Like, me and you, we do a podcast and whatnot. We won't claim to be fucking professional at anything, but it shouldn't just take a couple of us just to realise what we saw. And for me, yes, it was close. Was it a robbery? Close, was it a robbery? No. I mean, I can see why people thought Gavin Gwynne would win, but it wasn't for me. The cleaner effective work which you use in the first 4 rounds for me was clear. For Vuong, yes, he started to gas, and he's put in the trenches. But that's what this fight was for.
You keep saying he's starting to gas, and you're right. But when he was throwing back, he was landing.
Yeah, he was.
He can land off the back foot and scoring shot. That's what I'm saying. He was still but he was still landing. That's clean and effective work. Gavin Gwynne, his energy levels were like Cepedo's non-stop, but a lot of those shots were hitting the gloves. They're not scoring shots.
No,
not you can't. You might stand in the corner and shadow box like then say, right, my output's massive. My output, I'm landing on the gloves. That means fuck all. It means
you can be blindsided by pressure. That's what it is. You can be blindsided by pressure, and many a fight has been won like that. But you got to watch it for what it is. Like I say, for me, nothing was really eye catching in what he done. He might have caught the odd shot, but when. Like I say, Vuong he was gasping for a little bit. He got caught with a couple of silly ones. But if we're looking at on eye-catching shots alone in that whole contest, you're calling Cameron Vuong for out of the 10 rounds, the most eye-catching shots came from Cameron Vuong.
Yeah.
So, and you're right what you said there. It's what you look for. But I mean, I've watched a lot of pressure fights in my time, pressure fighters, and you know, you can see you can pressure a fight and be the boxer in it. For me, Gavin Gwynne wasn't that. Gavin Gwynne, well, yes, he was the pressure fighter, but for me, he was more. He was walking forward, but in walking forward, he was catching shots on the way in.
Exactly.
So it wasn't educated pressure for me. But like I say, the outcry for it, I didn't think was warranted, and I've seen little bits and pieces back. For me, I don't see it. I don't see it.
My fault.
And they're calling for rematch and all this other stuff.
Mate, I don't mind the rematch because it was a close fight. I definitely watch that again. Haven't got a problem with a rematch whatsoever. Yeah. It wasn't one-sided, you know, so it can warrant a rematch. But the actual wording I've used there was Gwynne really robbed. There's no such thing as a robbery in this. It just never happened. It wasn't robbed because it was super close. It wasn't a robbery. How can you have a robbery when it's super close? Come on, people themselves.
Like I say, I think it's more of a bias thing towards Gavin Gwynne.
Yeah, and we by the way, even though we done our prediction league, we didn't have a dog in the fight. I couldn't care less who won. We just went for Vuong because we thought it was his time.
Yeah, and a lot of people would have done because it's the time in their careers where you got a young buck and someone coming towards the end of their career. So that was the narrative anyway. But if they do have a rematch, I'd like Cameron Vuong to do something a little bit different. I'd like him to try and push Gwynne back.
Yeah,
whether he can fight that way, we don't know, but. Yeah, like I say, the call for robbery, like I say, the robberies, like you said there, Josh Taylor, Sandy Ryan, which was this year. Come on, you can't put this in the same bracket as that.
Shaki Foster, yeah, these
Shaki Foster, Conte. You cannot. So, like I say, people, they do get on my nerves sometimes because I look at it and I think, am I watching the same fucking thing? So, yeah. But then, it was not for me, mate.
As I always say, mate, on these sort of things, universal scoring system. Then we don't have these conversations. Then there is no. They're all singing from the same hymn sheet. Yeah. You've got judges there, like I just said in that conversation about the British Boxing Board of Control. The judges that are appointed, what are they looking for? They're clearly not looking for pressure fighting.
Yeah,
but you can't argue with the fact because there is no universal scoring system. We're all looking for different things. So if you're looking for effective work, boxing off the back foot, the more right catching shots that you said, you're going to go for Cameron Vuong.
Yeah,
it's the first time I've agreed with all three judges. I've got to be honest. I did 96, 94 Vuong.
Yeah, but even if you are looking for pressure fighter, you still got to be for effective pressure. Now you could be a pressure fighter and still lose. Correct. But I don't know why the narrative is that if you're the one pushing the fight, you must win. It doesn't work that way. The best pressure fighters in the world, they can box. It's not just someone that's got an engine. There's more to it. That's part of a game plan. That's part of an attribute that you've got. But you've got you've got to land. Now you can pressure fight for 12 rounds and not land a punch. Does that still mean you win? It doesn't work like that. Frustrates me because I like pressure fighters, but no, come on, you got to call it as it is. And I felt out the outcry was unfair, especially for a young man on his 7th fight as well, because he doesn't get any credit from this, and he should do because it's a decent enough win for him in his early career.
Yeah, Gavin Gwynne on your record, European and British champion after
and all that people are saying now is, oh no, you didn't win that. Really, it was a robbery. Bollocks.
Yeah, well, let's hopefully they can set the record straight. There again, he doesn't have to set the record straight.
No, does he? No.
Fuck.
Move on. Go get another opponent now.
Move on, and that's what we're going to do. Conor Walker versus Lewis Ritson. We're talking about pressure fighters. Conor Walker is a pressure fighter. We spoke about last week. Never in shit fights. This didn't catch fire as much as I thought it would. To be honest, the Cameron Vuong fight I thought was a bit more entertaining. However, unanimous points decision win for Conor Walker, mate. I gave every round to Conor Walker. I've got to admit, Lewis Ritson, there was a few eye-catching shots with the uppercut, but I've gotten, for audio listeners, I've gotten the banner there. Is Lewis Ritson done now? Mate, he didn't look like he wanted to be there to me. He's just a phrase you use a lot. He's just turning into an opponent. He's turned up there to get paid. There was an emotional interview with him after. Obviously down in the dumps is another loss for him. I think that's what is that 4 in 6 or something he's lost.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anything from Lewis Ritson to suggest, mate, that he wants to go on and carry on boxing. It was easy work for Conor Walker. I didn't give him one round, and that's not being harsh, not because I like Conor Walker. I just couldn't give Lewis Ritson anything.
No, like I say, it's almost like, these last few performances, he's been stopped with body shots and that, and we talked about him fading late. It was almost like his desire to win is not there, but his desire to get through the fight or survive, it was more that than anything. It was almost him to take it going the 12 rounds was like a win. And he's better than that, if your question there is he done, I believe so. We're not one to call retirement here,
No, not cool top. It just didn't look like he wanted to be there, Dave.
The desire, yeah. But again, you know what? He's probably not being honest with himself. Like, say what you want about Sonny Edwards, he was honest. You know, I don't have the desire anymore. You know, I didn't want to be there, sort of thing. You know, he's probably feeling it, but doesn't want to say. And that's a hard thing to let go. You know, you can't blame them. They've fought there probably their whole life since they were like 10 years old. You know what I mean? It's a hard thing to let go. So I don't blame him for that. But I don't know what sort of level he can box at now. You know, this was like British stroke European, wasn't it? Really, but it's almost like I say, his desire to definitely not go on to be champion can't be there anymore. But like I say, it was almost like he's, you know, after his last few performances, Ritson, to get through the fight was a win, and that's you know, you can't do that anymore. And I like Lewis Ritson, like I say, and I said it last week. That spell when he burst on the scene was fucking fantastic. But I listened to something else earlier. That was 2015. You know what I mean? We're fucking 2025 coming up now. Like I say, life passes you by. That's a long time ago, especially in boxing. You probably have a 10-year window if you're lucky. So yeah, he's done very well for Newcastle. We put them on the map for a bit. You know, he's probably one of their own. He'll be a local hero there. But I don't think he has the desire or the legs to push it through. I was worried that he'd fade late. I predicted him to get stopped late, but you can see it in him. He does gas. He does gas.
The desire is a good terminology used there, mate, because Conor Walker, for every round that he won and how busy he was and how much success he had, Lewis Ritson could land on him pretty easy. But when he did land on him, he didn't have the desire or he didn't capitalise on anything. He just sort of stood there and let Conor Walker go, well, okay, it's my turn now. Let me tee off on you. There was sort of like, well, I'll throw the shot to keep myself busy. I'll throw the shot to let the referee know that I'm still in the fight, but I'm not going to capitalise. I'm not going to do anything more. You know, I'm losing anyway. I'm a bit gassed. I just got the vibes for me like he's just turning up as an opponent now, Dave. He's just getting a little payday, making as a pro. You know, his wife, kids, and family, and all that sort of thing. He'll be back again, but I don't know if he's doing it for the right reasons. Do I want him to retire? Of course not. As you just said, we don't call for anyone to retire on here. But the sound, just his body language and everything around it, and his interview after. I don't know if it's the hunger's not there since that defeat, and he's gone on, you know, a few years ago. I mean, like you just said, when he beat Robbie Davis Jr., when they were more or less at the same stage, you thought, wow, we've got a good prospect here. This is a British, European, fringe, world level champion we've got here. Eddie's got a good one on the books here, but it hasn't worked out. It's gone backwards for him, and it's
But what you said there at the start of this about catching fire, it was more the fact that Lewis Ritson doesn't have the engine to engage.
Yeah,
because Conor Walker would have done, and it would have caught fire if. Takes two to tango, and it was just like pot shot, and it was one shot here and there that Lewis Ritson ran, but he doesn't have the legs or the stamina to press a fight. So the reason it didn't catch fire was more Ritson than Conor Walker.
Conor Walker now, mate, decent fighter, doing a little bit of matchmaking. This for me would be the perfect fight to come off a shit performance from last week. Why don't Harlem Eubank go in with Conor Walker next?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be a great fight.
That'd be a great fight because Harlem Eubank, what we said last week, I mentioned Conor Walker, I mentioned Lewis Crocker and Echo Esserman, these kind of guys. Based on what we saw last week from Harlem Eubank, he loses to all of them. Yeah. So why not have a good British domestic 3 or 4 fights next year against Conor Walker, against Echo Esserman, against the winner of Crocker and Paddy Donovan for Harlem Eubank. When he's on his game, we've said it before, he can probably beat these guys. He's very skillful. Do you know what I mean? He can pack a punch when he wants to. You know, there's something about Eubank. Didn't work the other weekend, and it hasn't done him any favours because he was supposed to go in and win that, and he's looked dog shit.
Yeah.
Go in against Conor Walker, who's on a crest of a wave. He's a hard night's work. That's a credible win, I think.
It is.
Really credible win because Adam Azim's now fighting Sergey Lipinets, so you can forget that. Dalton Smith's on his own journey, so you can forget about those guys. Plus, you're up at welterweight now as well. So I think that's a perfect fight to make next. Conor Walker versus Harlem Eubank, man.
Exactly like we said about Harlem Eubank. He's 30 years old now.
Yeah.
There's no more waiting around. There's no more of these opponents you can just pull out on Channel 5 and expect people to jump on the bandwagon. So, no, I'm totally with you. Any one of them names you mentioned, I'm all for that. And he needs to do that. Like I say, it was a poor performance. Ring rust could have been a thing. All right, so you've had that now. Get him with a name. It's a good name at the level he's fighting at. Absolutely, mate. I'm all for that. The Eubanks, they frustrate me. I don't know whether we talk about Chris Eubank Jr. all the time about how frustrating he is. I don't know about now we've got Harlem.
They're quite just was a bad night at the office, mate. He doesn't frustrate me at all. He doesn't frustrate me at all. He doesn't badmouth anyone. He doesn't trash talk.
No, I know, but I just
quiet.
I don't mean him frustrating his opponents. Frustrate me. His opponents, whoever's
Oh yeah.
who he gets put in with, because he is. Well, I think he's a good fighter, but I don't know what they're all advised by the same people. You know what I mean? Where just take this fight, and they do. It's always like fights that no one really cares about. He gets in with one of them names you mentioned there, then that changes the narrative on that. But he could end up fighting. He could end up with a Latvian Binman on Channel 5 in January, and maybe back talking about the same thing.
I think you're right, mate. I think you're right. So that was the review, should I say, from the weekend. The 3 fights that we covered. And just quickly, Callum Smith was on that card as well. Dave, did you see anything of Callum Smith's return?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
A few rounds in there, 8 rounds.
A bit of ring rust himself. He worked into the fight, didn't he? Had a bit of ring rust at the start there. Got caught with a few, but yeah.
Done what he's supposed to do. I'm glad he's got asked questions. That Colombian guy had a few losses. I thought he'd be cannon fodder, and he was game. His game was anything. He came to fight. He didn't come to survive, which was good. No. Good test for Callum.
But he needed to get out. He needed to get out before what's just been announced. So
yeah, does lead into what we'll talk about that card now, because obviously Callum Smith's name is involved, which is a surprise. So performance of the week, mate. Before we talk about the February card, where would you go? Is it obvious or?
Yeah, it's got to be Galal.
Has to be.
Has
to be Galal Yafai.
Yeah.
The manner and how he done it, irrelevant of how Sonny was feeling and what he was planning. Galal Yafai went in there, done a job, stopped him on his feet. Fair fucks to him. Yeah,
it was a great performance. I'd say you've been high on him, probably more than me. I mean, I've got no ill feeling towards him, but no, he's come out really impressed with what he's done there, mate. And I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes next. The BAMs of the world, all that, the Japanese guys, mate. Can't wait to see it now. Really looking forward to them.
Right. So says there, it's the February the 22nd card, the best card ever. The announcement from Uncle Turkey yesterday that he's putting on a card in Riyadh in February. He's named it the last Crescendo card. 7 fights on there. We've got a 7-fight card this weekend, which me and Dave will briefly go over on Thursday. One of Uncle Frank's magnificent 7 cards. But if that's magnificent, this to me is... I'm lost for words what this is. This is absolutely every boxing dream's wet dream. This is amazing. These are fights on there that I thought would never have happened. You've got fights on there that probably shouldn't be on the same card, but are. Mate, I'm buzzing for this. Anybody that's poo-pooing this, there is something seriously wrong with you. If you've got issues with Turkey, if you've got issues with Riyadh, if you've got issues with certain fighters, with promoters, or every major promoter is involved in this card. Uncle Turkey's done his magic here. This is... I in my lifetime, Dave, don't get me wrong, I'm no boxing connoisseur or encyclopedia. I got my love back for boxing when Triple G came on the scene and kind of followed it and got obsessed with it since then. But in my sort of lifetime, watching boxing and watching cards, I can't name a better one, mate. This is magnificent.
No. There's never been 7 main events on one card ever. And now I say, and we tend to say this about every Turkey card that comes out. This is the best one. This is never going to be topped. And fuck me, he has. He's this one. As soon as I saw that last night, I was like, fucking hell. Like, every one of them is a main event. Every single one of them is a main event that could have an undercard under it. Fantastic fucking fights. I hope that there's no pullouts or anything like that.
No. I don't think they will, mate. You don't get many pullouts with Uncle Turkey when there's money involved. However, there's one fight we will briefly talk about that someone has pulled out, which is very odd. And when it walks like a duck and it cracks like a duck, fucking duck. So Callum Smith, mate, we just briefly mentioned, nobody saw this fight coming. No. The rumours were Joshua Buatsi would be fighting against Anthony Yard on a boxer card on a main event next year. Turkey's done his magic. I believe, Matt, I don't know what you think. You probably might have the same rhetoric as me. After what's happened with Anthony Yard and Frank Warren, and Frank Warren's obviously in bed with Uncle Turkey, he's had a word. He says, look, I've had to let him go. That wasn't the plan. They've got out of the contract, etc. I don't want him anywhere near this card.
Yeah.
It's been left out in the cold. This should be Anthony Yard versus Joshua Buatsi. We've got this on the opening. This looks like the opening fight in the card in Riyadh, guys. But again, I've got no problem with this. This is a brilliant fight. Yeah. Buatsi versus Callum Smith. That would have been next after Anthony Yard. Yeah. I love it. Great fight.
Yeah, exactly. But with Buatsi and Callum Smith, we spoke about it. We spoke about it when Callum Smith fought Beterbiev, and we spoke about how there could be a round robin amongst the British guys. Like, it's not over for him. You know, we're starting to get that. Honestly, Anthony Yard has had an absolute stinker, by the way. What a time to play up and leave Frank Warren.
Yeah.
Whoever's advised him, it's probably fucking lions in the camp. Whoever's advised him, an absolute stinker, because he is missing out on some serious payday, some serious money here. But anyway, let's put anti-yards for another day. This is a great fight. It's not only a great fight for the world, because it is a world level fight. It's a great fight for British, and this is a really tough fight to have. I'm glad he got out when he did last week, because he needs it for Joshua Buatsi. Yeah. So this is a really, really good fight. I'm looking forward to this, and yeah, it's exactly what we called for. We said, Anthony Yard, Buatsi, Callum Smith's in the mix. There's a few of them in there. But I'm looking forward to this, mate. This is a really, really good fight that could go either way. And like I say, these are very hard to call, which I love.
Yeah, they're all 50. There's probably one in that might be a 60-40, 70-30, but the rest of them are literally 50-50. Zhili Zhang versus Ajit Kabayel. Forget the bullshit WBC interim belt. Means nothing. Don't care about that. Doesn't mean you're going to get a title shot next. But you've got two guys here in Zhang and Ajit Kabayel going against each other. This is, again, perfect matchmaking. Two guys on, forget your Anthony Joshua's because he's a name and he sells tickets. He's just been knocked out. He doesn't deserve to be here. These are the guys that deserve to be here. Zhang's coming off a fantastic win against Deontay Wilder. I don't care what anybody says about Deontay Wilder. Nobody knew that his right hand was gone. He's a great knockout. He's had two good fights against Joe Joyce. He's unlucky against Joseph Parker. He's still in form. Ajit Kabayel got in there with two boogeymen. Nobody wanted to touch. Done a job on them. Deserves their shot and deserves their payday. Again, 50. I can't pick this, Dave, because Ajit Kabayel's a very savvy, very clever fighter.
Very good boxer,
Very good boxer. And Zhili Zhang, it's like, fuck. And he's a very technically as well.
Yeah, we said that as well. Like I say, there's a lot of movement from Kabayel. He boxes very well. He picks his shots very well for a heavyweight. He goes to the body very well. We've always questioned Zhili Zhang's age. You said it many a time. He gasses after 4. Kabayel comes in with a game plan. And there's always an idea of what he wants to do and how he wants to implement stuff.
Yeah,
which makes this fight brilliant. And then we know what Big Bang Zhang can do. It only takes one punch. He's dropped every opponent he's ever faced. Great fight. So it's brains versus brawn. It's probably age versus young versus old. There's a lot of factors in it, but it's a great fight. Mike McConaughey must be fucking sitting there watching his Jared Anderson video on loop and thinking, what the fuck has happened here?
Well, it looks like it's the FAA Jaguars fight's happening soon. So
yeah.
Never mind. Just wax lyrical about this card. Virgil Ortiz Jr. He's on this card. Golden Boy fight against Israel Madrimov. Madrimov's fighting.
I was going to say,
against Boyachuk. So
if you're Boyachuk, you must be thinking, you cheeky fucking arseholes.
Mate, if he beats Madrimov, he'll get that fight.
Yeah,
he'll get that payday. Madrimov surely can't go into a fight with Virgil Ortiz Jr. based on a knockout, surely. But what I'm more intrigued with here is But Boots Ennis was offered this fight. They was all go. And then apparently Jaron Ennis didn't want to step up to 147 and fight Virgil Ortiz Jr. with an Uncle Turkey pay packet. Cut him in there. Biggest pay packet in his life. Biggest fight in his life. Biggest stage in his life. And he's turned it down because he wants to concentrate on 140. Yeah. What are you talking about? No one turns down Uncle Turkey money. You fucking mad. That's a duck. That is a duck. Eddie Hearn won't come out and say that. But if Eddie Hearn was Virgil Ortiz Jr.'s manager or promoter, he'd be saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is he turning that down?
Yeah, exactly.
You can always go up to 147, get that pay packet. You might be comfortable up at 147. Virgil Ortiz Jr. can't make 140 anymore. He's collapsed. He's had to move up.
Yeah.
You're missing out, Jaron Boots Ennis. And it's very telling from what we saw of you against Karen the other week as well.
Exactly.
I'm not too sure. But Virgil Ortiz Jr., man,
a confidence thing. Maybe he wasn't confident in that performance. Maybe he's come away thinking, he's got a few doubts. Do I need to a couple more fights before I go in with a Virgil? They might, it wasn't a great performance. So, but yeah, it's very hard. Yeah, it's a duck. It is. It's a massive duck. And like you say, Eddie Hearn would have been screaming from the rooftops should it be the other way around, but he's staying very quiet.
All these fighters on here, all these fighters on here are guaranteed 7 figures.
Yeah.
Even if it's 1 million each, they're all guaranteed 7 figures because Turkey's got an endless pot of money and he just seems he can get fights like that. And if you notice in all these Riyadh cards, mate, and the LA cards and the Wembley card, they don't need 12 weeks fucking camps. They don't pull out because they're getting weighed in. Yeah. And that's why the Jaron Ennis, Boots Ennis one does look like a duck. I'd never say anyone's scared of anyone, but it smells a bit iffy, but that's his loss. Got another great fight in Virgil Ortiz versus Madrimov, and good luck to the winner there. Carlos Adames versus Hamza Shiraz. Our boy Janibek, once again, has been left out in the cold, which I'm very surprised at because he was seen doing bits and pieces with Uncle Turkey. Hasn't managed to get the fight. But this is a good fight for Hamza. I still believe that Hamza's going to do this, beat Adames, and I'm hoping Janibek does get the Lara fight rather than Chris Eubank Jr. And they meet next year to fucking unify that division. This is a great fight. Adames is not the best in the division. Janibek is for me, but this isn't an easy fight for Hamza Shiraz. Again, mate, another 50-50 fight.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Looking for, and Hamza Shiraz, he deserves his shot. I didn't like him being linked with Janibek. I like the narrative of them meeting with unification or undisputed. It'd be great. So it was a bit strange that they were purse bids and they were talking about doing it and they didn't do it. But no, we said this last week. If we get to pick Hamza Shiraz route, this has been one of the ones we picked, either Lara or Adames, and then waited to get Janibek. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm glad he's got his shot, and I expect him to do the business. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson versus Floyd Schofield. Nobody saw this one coming either.
No.
It's supposed to be Shakur Stevenson versus William Cepeda. Cepeda's obviously got an injury. Joe Cordina didn't get the call again, and Floyd Schofield stepped up. Golden Boy on Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd's dad and said, "Right, go for it." He's 20. I think he's 22. He's only a prospect, but he's stepping up to the plate like Cameron Vuong did last week, mate. Stepping up to the plate. No, don't get me wrong. Gavin Gwynne's not an elite operator like Shakur Stevens is. Shakur is, but he's trying it. He's testing himself. He's seeing how good he is, and he's getting weighed into it. Love it. This to me is a 60-40, 70-30 in Shakur's favour. Obviously, it's great experience for him. And Floyd Schofield, man, he's got a point to prove as well. He's going to go out there and think, I'm on the biggest stage, got the whole world watching me. What can I do that other fighters haven't done? Can I set a blueprint on beating Shakur Stevenson? Again, I think it's a great fight, but I do edge Shakur. Not edge. I do think it's far too.
You've got to just on the experience alone. But I'm all for this. He's been very vocal on there. His father's been very vocal, daring to be great. Come on then. Go there, call these people out, and actually go through with the fight. You see so much talk and nothing materialise. So fair fucking play to the young lad. This is what it's all about. He gets. It's no lose for him. You know what I mean? If he goes in and doesn't win, at least he's one's out there shouting the names out.
It's just Shakur, so there's no disgrace in that.
Sitting there talking shit and never going through with it. He's actually put his money where his mouth is, and good luck to him. It's quite refreshing, to see someone as young like that go in with someone as good as Shakur Stevenson. Test yourself. If you think you're the best, go and prove it, and I'm all for that, mate.
Yeah. Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker. Thank fuck for Uncle Turkey, because Joseph Parker deserves this. He was being looked like he was being left out in the cold, wasn't it? Yes, he holds that. He held that WBO bullshit interim belt. It means absolutely nothing. He must have put that in the bin now because he's fighting for the IBF against Daniel Dubois. Mate, I haven't got a problem with Caballel, Zhang, or Martin Bacoli fighting Daniel Dubois. All really good fights, all competitive fights, and all really they earned their shot. But so is Joseph Parker. And this is a really good fight because we've said on this podcast before, Joseph Parker probably won that world title a bit too early. He's a much better fighter now, especially under Andy Lee. He's a lot more aggressive as well. This is again, we could see, I think Parker's technically a little bit better, but I think we've got a shootout here. I think we've got a more competitive fight than when he fought AJ. I really do. And again, this is co-main. This ain't even the main event. The blue chip division in the heavyweight division, the world title fight, and it's not even main event. That's how good this card is, Dave.
Yeah.
Not even main event.
But again, with Turkey, people are getting what they deserve. It's not what someone else thinks that they should be getting, or I'm helping a friend, I'm getting you a payday. They've earned their shots, man. They've gone in with really difficult fights, pick'em fights that they could lose, jeopardy fights to get a position to be where they are now, and they deserve it. You know what I mean? It's none of this now. Like Anthony Joshua, he's been great, but he shot against Daniel Dubois came out of nowhere. He didn't earn that really. He had 4 opponents that were questionable, which was his downfall in the fight. But
he leapfrogged all those guys. He leapfrogged Joseph Parker. He leapfrogged him.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But not only that fight. There's a fight here now for an interim belt or whatever it is. They're saying that Anthony Joshua, they get to fight Anthony Joshua like he's the world champion for it.
Yes,
it's ridiculous. So, like I say, Uncle Turkey is putting people on based on merit, and that's exactly why Parker is where he is, and he fully deserves it. It's going to be a great fight based on form. This is a fucking great fight. And
Turkey's a fan.
Yeah.
Turkey's a fan as well, Dave. He's not just a promoter, a businessman, part of the Riyadh season, the ambassador for Saudi. He's an actual boxing fan. So he knows. And that's why he's put on a card like this. He fucking knows who should be where they are. And Joseph Parker definitely deserves his shot.
Yeah,
and obviously, last but not least, mate, the rematch between Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. Super, super close fight. We had to roll it back again. And that's
another robbery.
And his main event.
It was another robbery, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah. Oh, definitely another robbery, mate. They were all screaming on Twitter, but fuck that lot. We're getting it again. We deserve to see it again. Obviously, at the moment, the Undisputed. There is one for you. I don't want to get to, because of time-wise, I've got to go in a bit, but here's a weird one for you with why I hate the sanctioning body so much. So we've got Artur Beterbiev versus Bivol, Undisputed again. The IBF have not mandated Beterbiev to defend his belt because they don't recognise immediate rematch clauses. So Alexander Usyk beating Tyson Fury for the 4 belts. He was told he had to take his mandatory in Daniel Dubois or be stripped. Yeah. Now, maybe someone can come on and correct me. Maybe there's a ruling in the IBF I haven't seen. But doesn't that sound like double standards to you? Don't get me wrong. The IBF have done well in getting a 3% from an Anthony Joshua purse. And now they're getting another 3% from Tyson Fury. Not Tyson Fury, sorry, from this fight, Daniel Dubois against Joseph Parker. I get that from a business sense of view, but surely they should have allowed Usyk to keep that belt, and we've got the Undisputed for the second time on December the 21st.
Yeah.
Mate, fuck off. Just fuck all the belts off. Just fuck them all off. Uncle Tom, there with the Ring magazine. The quicker he gets that to number 1, we can forget all this bullshit and just put on cards based on sporting merit, like me and you have said from the start of this pod, mate.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. And Beterbiev, Bivol, high quality, high elite level boxing. Why wouldn't you want to watch that? Yeah, people can talk bollocks about it. Bivol won, but we can all put our cases to it. Was it a robbery? No. Same as Gavin Gwynne's fight. Was it a robbery? No. But people like to scream, bollocks, especially on Twitter. No, mate, I'm all for it. I loved the first fight. You know, it doesn't have to be a fucking all-out Gatty Ward sort of fight or, Corrales fucking fight or anything like that. It could be technical boxing and still be superb, exactly what it was. Love the rematch. Looking forward to it, mate. I can't wait. What a fucking card this is. The best card I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's enough to get you hard, isn't it, this?
Not many.
Not many, So that's it, guys. We've actually done it for an hour, which is rare for me and Dave. Mitch had to fly for it. We'll be back Thursday with a bit of Dave McDonald, a bit of a De La Hoya update, Prediction League, as I said, and we've got some really good fights coming through on Saturday night, and they're all on Saturday night. We've got Navarrete versus Valdez, number 2. Yeah. We've got Robson Ramirez against Dave's pulling Mexican, Rafael Espinoza. That's one I'm particularly looking forward to on Saturday night. We've got Liam Parrow against Richardson Hitchens, 2 completely different styles. It'd be interesting to see where me and Dave go with that one. We've got Brad Paulson against Denzel Bentley for the British and European. That's going to be a great fight as main event on Uncle Frank's Magnificent 7 card. And we just spoke Usyk. We just spoke Fury. We just spoke Dubois. We've just spoke Parker. But we've got the real heavyweight champion of the world fighting on the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yes, the real champion, the WBA regular heavyweight champion of the world, Manuel Char, is back in action in Bulgaria against 43-year-old Kubrat Pulev. Can't wait for that either, Dave. What a fight. What a fucking fight.
Pussy war.
That's the best way to end it, mate. Brilliant. So that's it, guys, for episode 85. Please like, please share, please subscribe to us via YouTube and do the same with your audio feeds over on Apple and Spotify with a 5-star review, as nothing else will do. So until Thursday, have a great couple of days, stay safe, and I was going to say enjoy the bloody boxing, but it's not until Saturday, so just stay safe, and we'll catch you on Thursday. Davey boy, peace out, brother. Hope the bog's all right with Dana Rod.
They're in the house now. I can hear them walking downstairs, so I better go. And I'll let you know how the rematch goes with me and Al, because I'm going to punch his lights out for what he's done to my over.
Well, it's a 10-8 round to Alfie so far.
It is, it is. There's a rematch, Beterbiev Bivol 2. That's what it's going to be in this house tonight.
Catch you Thursday.
Take care, mate.